managing director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, man. I tell you, last time I looked at Tony D, I saw he tweeted something out. Got like 100 people liking it, a bunch of people sharing it. The dude is blowing up, which is good.
I am blowing up.
Tony D'Angelo.
Not that kind of way.
He joins us every Tuesday at his brand new time, 7:05-ish. Gives him an extra couple of minutes to get the point across, some of the points across, if in fact he needs to. And today may be one of those days. Tony, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and proud to be among everybody, and thank you for having me once again. I didn't intend to do this, but your monologue this morning kind of spurred me on a little further. I'd like to rant a little before we start. Did you see that Da Nang Dick Blumenthal, otherwise known as the Jussie Smollett of the Vietnam War, was circulating pictures of himself in a Christian church in Bridgeport handing out the COVID test paid for with your and my tax dollars. And this made me angry, Lee Elci, on several fronts. First of all, where is the social and political criticism against this man who is a blatant known communist sympathizer? He proved it to us all. And he's just going about his business. The media, so-called, is just accepting him. And on this show, there's been a number of political figures. I don't think I've heard one person utter the word, about this man, who he is and what he does. And, it just galled me because the prize that this guy's bringing to this Christian church, I have issues with that, which I can get to, is that, it's taxpayer-paid COVID tests like I am bringing this to you. It's like your drunken uncle coming in off a road trip and handing you swizzle sticks from a bar. And, it's just, and again, this happened to be a church, from what I could see, of people of color. The Democrat Party, for years and years and years, I was having this discussion with some very nice, well-meaning Republican folks, and I said, this is what is known as their church game. They go, they bring a bag of goodies, they say what they're going to do, they toss around a few things, they make promises. When things don't happen, they blame the Republicans, so that if somebody comes along who is a well-meaning Republican, and it's like, I want to do something here, they immediately become an object of hate. This game is played over and over and over again, and what you were saying about, in your monologue about this is the world that we got, it's a part of that world is learning how to fight better and learning how to see things for what they are. And, it's like this can't be 100% kumbaya all the time.
Right.
There is a major problem, and these guys have the ground game. They know how to play it. They've got the money. They've got your money and my money. And it's not only black churches, it's white churches. I can't tell you how many near fist fights I would get into in the New Haven Green, where you had the three churches, telling, where I would be speaking with the reverends and telling them, you don't run your church on public dollars. You become a sellout. And listen, I can go off 50 different ways in this, but I am just so freaking angry.
Well, I totally get it. And part of what I was trying to get to this morning is all of us have to be better, whether, you're associated with it.
Got to be better.
We have to be smarter because Dick Blumenthal's a snake. Murphy's a snake. Now, it's not just Democrats. There are Republican snakes as well. But we got to figure out who's who and do better somehow, some way, because what we have right now, Tony, is unacceptable. It just is unacceptable.
It's entirely unacceptable. And one of the very nice Republican folks I was speaking to said, well, we lose the church game. We've considered that. We toss our arms up. We can't beat them at that. I said, but that's your problem, because you got to get them outside the churches. You've got to bring a community game. I don't know. Watching those movies of Bobby Kennedy, before he was killed in 1968, going into the communities of color and speaking and dialoguing and saying what he was going to do, I've never seen that here.
Right.
And what's so difficult is that now perhaps you don't have a plan. okay? Maybe you don't have a clue as to what you have to do. I mean, I'm not going to start swearing, but get a bleeping clue.
Well, Tony, though, it's such a great point because I've been saying this on the air before we even started having segments. I've been saying Republican leadership needs to go into the inner cities, whether it's black churches or whatever it is, where people of color may congregate, or even folks who are just in a different social or economic class may congregate to do whatever it is that they do. And you've got to explain to them, as a politician, what you're going to do for them, what you are actually going to do, not smoke and mirrors, but what the plan is. Nobody does that on the Republican side. Now, Blumenthal goes and hands out, these tests and then gets in the limo and drives back down to Washington and forgets about it, got a big smile on his face and feels like he's won the day. And sadly, he probably has, because nobody else is doing anything. Like, sit down face to face with community leaders and say, what do you want? If I were the senator or if I were a congressman, specifically, what do you want me to do to help folks who are in trouble? And you never get that.
Well, and I had this discussion with the good Republican folks. I said, look, like him, hate him, criticize him, do whatever you want with him. Donald Trump had the idea, just dealing with the idea of how do you bring economics to the inner city. The man knew what to do. And the thing is, I think it just brought stark, staring terror to the established political system and also to, whatever you want to call it, glad-handing, Cracker Jack box, Mickey Mouse pastor, sugar daddy politics. It's just I don't know. To me, it's so obvious, but I just don't get it. I really don't.
All right, listen. Before we go too long on this, you want to go a pivot to Biden?
Well, yeah. If I want to go back and talk about, I want to make it very clear that in the zoning fight, we actually had a little bit of elimination this week, or whatever the way it comes down to is that I say this to single-family homeowners, and they look at me like I have six heads. I get a lot of six heads looks. The only thing is 6 months later, the six heads have become one. It's like, how'd you know that? The Connecticut communities are in a dogfight to preserve the single-family home. The single-family home is being, and this goes throughout the country, is perceived to be an object of evil. In other words, you didn't work for that home. The only reason you got that home is because you had advantages that somebody else didn't. And once we equal the playing field, everybody will have a chance. Now, homes are an important thing, and believe me, the most frustrating thing in the world to deal with is real estate to anybody that's ever owned it. But when one is motivated to have a home, they're motivated to do things. You have to do things. You got to do. You have to fix it. You have to do the lawn. You have to bring things into it. It creates a climate of industry, and you can talk about people in communities with, well, they have exclusionary zoning, and this is what the whole thing is. These are often the people. I'm not saying they're all morally wonderful. I'm certainly not. But these are the people who are bringing capital, bringing jobs, creating things, raising the bar for others to do. I mean, how many people does somebody like that employ? How many people are they circulating money to? You don't look at that. We've got to dumb everything down. But we went through the Housing Act, the last time as far as what's there. We're essentially back to the 1968 rules. And what it basically comes down to is that there are two groups in Connecticut, the Open Communities Alliance and the Desegregate Connecticut, and they want to guilt you out into thinking that you having a single-family home that you've worked to do everything that you need to is an evil thing. And I was the little bit of crack of hope that I saw. Actually, I had this discussion with the folks. There is a legislature. Far from me to praise what the legislature does sometimes, but Kimberly Fiorello came out with an article, and she had a paragraph of that. This is not a local effort. This all comes from the Regional Planning Association, Inc., the RPA, which gets its funding from Soros, and there is big money to dumb down suburban communities. Now, I'm not talking color. I mean, if my if the neighbor on the right was, I don't even see him. I mean, he may be black. If he's black and my other neighbor's pink with purple polka dots, I don't care. They work for their home. They're entitled to it. But it's this whole kind of guilt thing where the legislature, Tony, lost it the last time. Was they got into a very technical thing about zoning and fair housing and all of that. It's not about any of that. It's about dumbing things down to the point where it doesn't really matter. And if you go to the Biden-Sanders manifesto, and they talk about how they do this, it's a three-pronged attack. The biggest one, and Lee Elci, you had a column about this, is by homogenizing real estate appraisals. So people can't get the money to borrow to buy a certain house. The price drops, and all of a sudden it all kind of goes, kind of to the same point. A large part of this is driven by a railroad effort. You see a lot of things right now with railroads, and, we're going to build a railroad here, there, and whatever, because that is a strong union constituency. I mean, this is a lot bigger than people see it, and, it's I say this, I make this plea. I don't want to see another stupid fight. We start dealing with this sort of thing again. And this is something that I don't think, if you're running as a Republican, that, you got to stop ignoring this. You've got to make this fight, for people that have worked so hard to have their homes in the state. You being one, me being one.
Yeah, and just you gave me a little credit. I want to give that credit back to you. I wrote that column because you did a segment on the show about that very segment, again, about that subject months before anybody else even broached the thing. So, I mean, you're, again, not to pump you up and give you that giant swelled head, man, but it's just, you've been ahead of the curve on so many different things, and I appreciate that.
Well, I think, and, I'll give everybody a preview as to next week. I mean, I hear a lot of things as far as political promises from a number of candidates, and I'm not the smartest or the swiftest or the best or, whatever the case may be, but I've spent my time in this entirely because you've given me the opportunity to come on and, apply myself to this as best as I can. We're going to start getting next week to, just some of the fiscal nonsense that's going on, particularly with our state university, the University of Connecticut, which goes all the way back to John Rowland. I mean, everybody has had their hands in this particular train wreck. No one's been able to challenge it. The amount of money, or no one's wanted to challenge it, I should say, the amount of money that's spent and how it's spent and what's being done, without oversight, without anything. I mean, I hear forensic audits. I hear, inspector generals and things. I mean, fellas, ladies, I don't know if you have a clue of what's taking place here, but we're going to get to it. It's going to be fun. Tony
D, I can't wait, actually. I can't wait till you jump into UConn because I've had my issues with them for a long, long time. And also, now, by the way, if you have requests for something to have Tony dig into, now, I'm not guaranteeing that he'll do it, but send it my way and I'll send it his way. And if it's something he thinks he can find out some info on, he will. There may be one coming that's somebody forwarded to me that I forwarded to you. So, we can do that down the road. How do you want to wrap it up today?
Well, I think we should honor the great member of our United States Senate as far as who he is and who he sympathizes with a very popular version of the Russian national anthem.
Now, see, I got to say this, Tony. I've been playing a specific national anthem version that fills his heart with pride. But when he hears this one, this is one I completely forgot about. And I'm so glad that you forwarded this to me. This will really make Dick Blumenthal smile. Thank you, Tony.
Take care, Lee. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Volkov requests that you all rise and respect his singing of the Soviet national anthem.
Get him.
Elci.
Exactly what is it that you want from me?
I want you to know on the train, in the mountains, in the valleys, wherever you go, that you cut down your life for spite. Spite! Spite is the word of your undoing!
Weekday mornings from 6 until 10 on 94.9 News.